Welcome to Real Estate Radio Live, an informative and engaging podcast discussing everything you need to know about the world of real estate. Your host, Joe Caccera, provides you with insight and guidance on how to buy, sell, finance, and invest in real estate. He also offers real estate tax management strategies, new construction advice, home improvement tips, and much, much more. And now, to guide you around the world of real estate, here's your host and Real Estate Radio Live team leader, Joe Caccera.
Welcome in. This is Joe Caccera with Real Estate Radio Live, the podcast series. As we move along through the week, I want to thank you again for checking in, and also thank all of you out there for continuing to download the podcast, share the podcast, and really make us more and more attractive to more and more audiences in geographical areas. It's great. The podcast is getting downloaded all over the place, including internationally. So a lot of good stuff happening, and we're happy to share this information as we go into our 7th year of sharing education and information for you, the consumer, to help make you a more wise consumer in and around your real estate transactions. All right, before we get started on the topic today, just a reminder, if I could help you with any financing, you're thinking of financing a purchase or wondering if you can afford that home you're looking at, or maybe you're looking to refinance, or one of the things I want to keep people updated on right now, if you have a home equity line of second, really think about consolidating that with your first. I'm having several conversations with people on a regular basis. They're really a bit misinformed. They're looking at the interest rate on their first loan, and it could be in the let's say the mid to high 3% range. And one of the mistakes people are making is like, God, I don't want to give up that rate in order to consolidate my second. Well, you'd be surprised to know that interest rates now are below 4% again for 30-year money, depending on your credit and your loan-to-value, etc. And even if the combined interest rate is a little bit higher than the one that you had, you could do a couple different things. Number one, you're eliminating a second, which is typically those seconds are interest only, and they're adjustables. And the prime is going to do nothing but potentially go up. So you want to consolidate that. You'd be surprised to know that you'd be making a better financial decision to consolidate those two loans into, even if it's a little bit higher than your current loan on the first. That's correct. That is. And you could even look at potentially doing a shorter term amortization. A lot of people don't know about this. Let's say you locked in a 30-year fixed at 3.5%, 3 5/8, and you've had it for 5 years. Let's just say, for example, if you know who you're working with and you understand the different investors you have, you could request you get a 25-year amortized loan on your refinance. So you don't have to go backwards. This is the part that a lot of people don't know, and this is some of the stuff that people are not sharing with you. So make sure you're working with the right people on your financing. Also, if you need a real estate agent, financial planner, CPA, legal advice, anything to do with real estate, we're here to help you as a team. We have a great group of a network of people that could help you in and around everything in real estate. Reach out, 408-838-9060, or email joe@reradiolive.com. All right, today I'm going to talk about the plans for Google to move downtown San Jose, what it's going to mean to San Jose. You've probably been hearing a lot about this in the news, and certainly if you're in the Bay Area and outside of the Bay Area, that it may be new to you. But I saw this coming. I could tell you if it'd be interesting. I don't want to say I told you so, but I'll laugh about that. But if you go back to my podcast, my radio shows, almost 2 years ago, I have been talking a lot about how San Jose eventually was going to no longer be a false start. And this went back almost 2 years ago, and I've been talking about this for at least the last year or so. And the reason why is when you study this every day, when you study real estate, markets, trends, like I do every day for the show and for the podcast, for the radio, for my business, what I saw coming was the fact that all the real estate on the commercial side was being scooped up, and there was really no more available in Mountain View and Sunnyvale and Cupertino and Redwood City and all these places that a lot of the high-tech companies really were born from and grew into, there was no more space. And you could just see it. When you're looking at a map and when you're understanding the business dynamics here in the Bay Area, I could see the fact that they're not going to slow growth in the Bay Area. We know that. Silicon Valley's growing. They're adding more jobs. There's more and more startups. 70 to 80% of the venture capital is still here. So when you look at all those dynamics in the reality, the obvious choice to me was that downtown San Jose was the next stop. Downtown San Jose was going to be the next move for a lot of these high-tech companies. And a lot of people said, no way, it's never going to happen. It's just not going to happen. It never will. And here we go. So if you go back a year or so, you could see Apple, Facebook, and now Google is taking over negotiating nearly 8 million square feet of space in downtown San Jose by the Diridon Station and by the SAP Center. And what's that going to mean? That's going to be a Google Village. Basically, it's going to be a city in itself. I believe their Mountain View facility is 5 million square feet. So if you could imagine, this is going to dwarf their Mountain View headquarters and facilities in downtown San Jose, if in fact they get all that space and they build out on it, which it looks like they are. So the reason I bring this up is to follow trends. The other thing I was talking about a couple of years ago too, a lot of callers, a lot of people said, where should I invest? It seems impossible to invest. And I was beating the drum for invest in downtown San Jose. Single family, multi-unit, duplex, fourplex, apartment complex. Even right now, it's still good opportunities. There's going to be areas of San Jose. If you could imagine, if you could visualize, for most of you people that are familiar with San Francisco, and if you could visualize what happened to the part of San Francisco, Chinatown, and all those areas, not Chinatown, I'm sorry, China Basin, what happened to that entire area, and then moving south from AT&T Park when they put that park in 2000. 17 years ago, all that area was terrible, crime-ridden. They had warehouses, space that they couldn't get rid of, space that they couldn't lease. Now look at it. Look at what AT&T Park did to, and look what the business structure did to San Francisco, and look at what it's continuing to do. It's going to be similar to San Jose. It really is. It's now going to be similar to San Jose. Certainly means more traffic, more congestion, all these things. I understand that. But my point behind this is, if you look at downtown San Jose right now, some people are still looking at areas going, oh, I wouldn't invest there. Those areas are depressed, or those areas are run down, or those areas I'd be skeptical. But when you have a development like this taking place, believe me, when you have an undertaking like this taking place that Google is, and now high-tech companies moving in downtown San Jose, it will completely change the landscape of downtown San Jose. And it'll start moving out slowly, and cover most of it. So if there are areas in San Jose right now, in downtown San Jose, where you think you could still get some decent bargains on property, if that word even exists anymore, if you think you could get some decent pricing on property, I would buy it and hang on to it. I could tell you that when we have shows 5 or 6 years from now, that's what's great about recording all this information. It'd be fun to come back and play these things. I could tell you in the next 5 or 6 years, downtown San Jose is going to be completely different. It's going to take on a different look. And if, in fact, there's opportunities for you to invest right now, if someone said, again, where are opportunities to invest in the Silicon Valley or the Bay Area, I would still say there are some areas of downtown San Jose are the best places to invest right now, if you have the resources to do it, number one, and number two, if you have the patience to wait. It's not going to happen overnight, but I will almost, there's no guarantee, but I assure you that 5 years from now, if we're having a conversation and you purchase something in downtown San Jose right now, this year, that you're going to get some incredible appreciation and an incredible value 5 to 6 years from now. And by the way, not only appreciation, but you watch the rents. Watch what's going to happen to the rents. Where do you think these 20,000 people that are going to be working in downtown San Jose, where do you think they're going to live? That's another thing to take a look at. Take a look at a map. Look at downtown San Jose. Take a look at a map and look at the areas around there. And those areas around downtown San Jose will now become the next areas that are going to experience some tremendous amount of appreciation in the homes, because people are going to want to be closer to downtown San Jose now for the first time since we could all remember. I've been here for 40-plus years. For the first time that we could remember, people are going to want to be closer to downtown San Jose. I know it sounds strange, but it's going to start happening. It already has. So what does that mean? If you look at a map, downtown San Jose, you have the Rose Garden, you have the Willow Glen area. Those two areas were already appreciating at record rates. Watch and see what's going to happen to the Rose Garden and the Willow Glen areas over the next 3 to 5 years. Those areas will become even more expensive. I could guarantee you the downtown Willow Glen area is going to take on a whole new look over the next 3 to 5 years. And some of you may well say, well, what's the reason for that? Well, the reason for that is that the more and more money that goes in that area, the city and a lot of those tenants will either have to change the way they do business, upgrade their business. If they want to get more for what they're, if they want to get more for their products and services, if it's a restaurant or depending what stores are in downtown Willow Glen, these people are all going to have to make adjustments to their business upward, invest in their business. Otherwise, other companies, other businesses will come in and do that, because this is what people demand. This is what consumers will demand. So it's going to change the entire landscape. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When I come back, we're going to have continued discussion about the plans for Google to move into a big area in downtown San Jose, and how does that make San Jose partly one of the most affordable cities in America. I'll be back with you in just a minute.
For more information on today's program, visit reradiolive.com. That's reradiolive.com.
Hi, this is Joe Kuchera, host of Real Estate Radio Live and Bay Area Mortgage Planner. In addition to being your home financing expert, please remember you could always contact me for other trusted advisors such as realtors, financial planners, and CPAs. Please feel free to contact me at 408-838-9060. That's 408-838-9060, or email joe at reradiolive.com, or visit my website at reradiolive.com for more details.
Welcome back to Real Estate Radio Live. For more information on today's topic or guests, just visit reradiolive.com. That's reradiolive.com. Again, your host for today's edition of Real Estate Radio Live, Joe Kuchera.
Welcome back in. Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live, the podcast series. As we continue through the show, the topic today is, what will the effect be, and what it will look like for Google's plans to move downtown San Jose. We're talking about that today. Just reminiscing a little bit about the last couple of years, how I've been really talking about downtown San Jose that was going to be on the map eventually. And here we are. It's happening. And so I'm going to remind everyone again, it's going to have a big effect on downtown San Jose. If you're out there and you're wondering, and a lot of people do, where should I invest in the Bay Area, I would still look at investing in certain parts of downtown San Jose more than anywhere else in the general Bay Area. Now, I'm not talking about further out. I don't know what the Central Valley is like. I don't know what, some of the other areas in the East Bay are like. I don't follow those closely enough. But right now, as we sit here today, 2017, in July of 2017, I would be looking for property in downtown San Jose, either commercial or residential, and purchase it if you can. Get your hands on it. Hang on to it for the next 5 to 10 years. They're most likely going to have some great returns. The reason why is San Jose is the downtown area is finally the only place where high tech has room to grow, and guess what? Downtown San Jose, the city of San Jose is going to welcome them with open arms. And there is a lot of, still to this day, there's a lot of depressed, I know it sounds strange maybe, but there are a lot of depressed areas and buildings and dilapidated buildings and areas in downtown San Jose. The reason I bring that up is that this is not some new, bright, shiny city that's, all of a sudden in the last 5 years have all these new buildings and restaurants and housing. And this is still a city under transformation that's going to take some years to make this happen. So the reason I bring this up is that if you look at some of the areas of downtown San Jose, they have some hotels still that are very old. They have some hotels that don't even look like they belong down there. Now they have a couple of newer ones. They have some newer ones. When I say newer, in the last 10 to 15 years, the Marriott, the Hilton, the Fairmont is a beautiful property that's been there for 20 plus years. But my point here is there's going to be a lot of rebuilding. There's going to be a lot of construction. There's going to be a lot of upward building, a lot of high-rise building, and not only commercial, but you're going to see a lot of residential now. And for a lot of those places, a lot of the high-rises that people were thinking, God, they're never going to make it, the time has come. And downtown San Jose is going to be reshaped over the next 3 to 5, 7, 10 years, and it'd be a great thing to invest in somewhere in San Jose. If you haven't already done so, I think downtown would be a great spot still. And remember, as I mentioned earlier, what's going to happen is certainly Google's effect down by the Diridon station and that SAP center, it's going to, if you could just visualize, look at a map again, and you could visualize outward progression from the downtown area right around that area by the SAP center. As that progression moves outward away from that area, you're going to get more and more areas that are going to be upgraded, redevelopment, newer projects. All that's going to happen, and it's going to happen sometime in the next 3 to 10 years. Get that investment. It's a great opportunity if you haven't done so. Also, as I mentioned, in residential, if you're living in the Rose Garden area, the Willow Glen area, those areas are going to be affected greatly, drastically, by this development with Google and more high tech. By the way, we're focused on Google right now, but it's not just Google. I mean, Google puts the name on the map. They get the news. They get the headlines for sure, and they should. But remember, there are hundreds of other companies that have plans to move in downtown San Jose over the next couple of years too. So what this means is continued growth. So you have to look at also the public transportation. I think another area that people are going to start really keeping an eye on a little bit more, even more, will be the East Foothills, Morgan Hill, Gilroy. The reason why, specifically out in East Foothills, is that, there's some light rail that comes out in right directly down in town, San Jose. There's good light rail service. The Santa Teresa area is going to get more and more activity because there's good light rail service from there to the downtown area. And all these areas are going to continue to grow, develop, and, of course, the other side of that, the prices are going to go up, and that's another story, of course. So part of this, we all know, it's exciting to some extent, but then it's upsetting on another sense, because what you have is home prices going up even higher, traffic getting worse, the cost of living going up. And what that means is it's less affordable for more and more people. And that's the downside. That's the sad part. That's the part that the city of San Jose, I know they're working on it. I hope the advantage that downtown San Jose has right now is they're still early enough in the game where they could make sure that they allot a fair amount of real estate and development and square footage in San Jose to simply low-cost housing or reasonable, affordable housing for many different people. They have an advantage right now, and I hope San Jose, they consider this, and I hope they work really hard amongst all this excitement that they're finally getting a lot of attention down there, that they really spend some time, energy, resources, money on what this development means and why we need affordable housing. We need more and more affordable housing. It's almost impossible to develop affordable housing outside of downtown San Jose. That's why downtown San Jose is another great location to develop more and more affordable housing. It just is, because you could go up, you could designate a lot of that housing affordable, the city could do what they want. There could be lending programs, financing programs, assistant financing programs. There's all kinds of creative things the city could do to make more affordable housing. So I hope that they're doing that. I know there's a lot of talk about that, but I just hope that that's taking place. So all these areas around downtown San Jose. What's interesting is if you remember back 10, 15 years ago and you move fast forward, kind of what happened to little sleepy downtown Mountain View. Remember what happened to little sleepy downtown Sunnyvale. Palo Alto, Los Altos, those were already really on the map as far as I'm concerned. But places like Mountain View, Sunnyvale, Cupertino, certainly, look what happened to those towns, those cities, that area when high tech just continued to buy up space and add jobs to those areas. Look what happened to the real estate in those areas. Now, partly the real estate has a lot to do with schools, too. San Jose School District is not the same as Cupertino or Los Gatos or Saratoga. We know that. But keep in mind, now that there's more and more money pouring into the coffers of San Jose, guess what? Let's hope again that some of the smart politicians will make sure this money goes to public schools so that our schools get better. And I think that's going to happen too. It just is. The more revenue and resources they get. Remember, downtown of San Jose was really a negative, kind of a revenue suck and just a negative thing overall for many reasons. Now it's going to change. The whole complexity is going to change. Which means, in theory, theoretically, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, we'll get some situations where we're going to make affordable housing projects. More and more people, hopefully, at different income levels could afford housing. And the other thing I hope that happens, it improves the infrastructure and it improves our schools and our fire department and our services and our police departments and all the services that it takes to run a busy city like we have here in San Jose that's going to get even more busy. You're going to see a lot more restaurants come into downtown San Jose. You're going to see some big brand names that aren't here that will come here now. I'm telling you, certainly everybody talks about the Google effect. That's going to happen. But remember, it's not just Google. There's going to be hundreds of other technology companies and businesses now that are going to move to downtown San Jose or look to that. One, because there's available space still. And two, there's going to be more and more opportunity and more business opportunity for restaurants, shops, businesses, and all the different aspects. Around the residential areas, again, I would keep an eye on Willow Glen and Rose Garden. If you have something, or if you think those, you might be thinking right now, oh my gosh, Rose Garden and Willow Glen are kind of high still. Wait for 3 to 5 years from now. If you're out looking and you have a choice and you're looking for a house right now and you have some flexibility, I would look to secure something in the Willow Glen or Rose Garden areas for that reason. One, you're probably going to get one of the biggest spikes we've seen in the next 3 to 5 years in those particular areas because that is the closest cities and areas around near downtown San Jose that have really simple, easy access to downtown San Jose, but downtown Willow Glen is attractive, and the Rose Garden area and Willow Glen are already attractive to begin with, but they're still behind when it comes to comparing to Los Gatos, Saratoga, Cupertino, those things. Soon, Rose Garden and Willow Glen will carry those same price tags, so keep an eye on that. All right, we're going to duck out here in just a minute. I want to thank you again for tuning in. As usual, if you want more information, go to RE Radio Live, and we'd love to have you share the podcast, tell your friends, family, coworkers about it, and give us a review if you get a chance. We'd love to hear what you think about the podcast. and much, much more. This is Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. Thank you again for tuning in. Until next time, take care.
You've been listening to Real Estate Radio Live. For more information on today's program, visit reradiolive.com. That's reradiolive.com. Subscribe to our podcast. Discover more at reradiolive.com.